Hello, this video is for my Math 2413 students online course. Face-to-face students could use this video as well if they needed to see it. Anyway, I'm going to help you navigate your way through the course and figure out where to get going. This will save you a lot of time and stress than having to try to figure out stuff yourself. So you can get to D2L through either My Lone Star or this d2l.lonestar.edu. You can get there that way. So let's go to the course. Obviously, you're not going to have as many math courses as this, but so let me open up our course for this semester. And there's a little introduction announcement. Announcements are very important that you check whenever I make one. I don't make all that many, but that's why they're usually important. All right, so we have announcements. And let's look at the main facets here. I think everything's pretty well organized, but let's talk about the key things to this course are content, and then in course activities, you have quizzes, which those are actually going to be where your homework assignments and your exams will be taken, but it's just called quizzes. That's just what D2L does. And then grades. Of course, grades is just going to be where with electronic submissions, but it's not manually entered grades, but still it doesn't hurt to keep track of things. Those will be automatically posted. So let's see what we got. So let's go through content. That's kind of where all the action is here. Well, except I do need to go to the quizzes portion and show you. So let's take a look here. Now this first folder is kind of a general folder here, syllabus and other assorted files. Actually, let me go back and, I'll start right here. We'll run through the syllabus first. Just real quick. That'll be there all semester. Of course, you can always, go to, contact me if you have any questions, of course, but I'm not going to go real slow through this. But the syllabus doesn't explain how to manipulate your way through D2L. So, all right, skip this. Okay, this is the official textbook that we're now using, which is not required that you have to get that book. You can use any calculus book that you want, and especially pay attention to something I'm about to show you. And when we go back to that folder with the syllabus in it, there's a PDF of a book that's in there that you can use, an old book, but calculus is still calculus. But this is just to show you that that's the official textbook. Okay. Now, all right. Well, a lot of this applies to classroom attendance, of course, but there's a couple important dates. The official day of record to make sure that if someone's not participating, and all you have to do to be judged as participating in this class is I'll look and see just to make sure everybody's logged into D2L by at least once. However, you better be logged in more than that to be keeping up with the material. But if someone has never gone into this course on that date, I will have them dropped. But I don't think that's going to be an issue, unless somebody forgot they were signed up for the course and forgot to drop it or whatever reason. But if you're a serious student, that's not going to be an issue. And there's the withdrawal date right there. Here's some other stuff. How do we get a grade? There are 10 graded homework assignments in D2L. The lowest 4 will be dropped automatically, and the highest 6 will form a homework average, which is 25% of the grade. Basically, it's equivalent to a test grade because you have 3 exams. They're all 25%. And then the final exam is mandatory, and it's 25% of the grade. Now, I need to change this. I might mention that in the announcement, but I'm actually allowing Sunday, December 17th as the last day to take the exam, not the 16th. So I may not officially just go through and change the whole syllabus. I'll just make an announcement. Or I may change it. I don't know. We'll see. But you'll see, and then what's important though is you'll see in the D2L calendar, that's where you'll see what the real date is. That's the important part, and we'll get to that here in a little bit too, where the calendar of due dates and all that. So, but anyway, now let's be careful with this, and we'll talk about how we get the grades here. Because sometimes people ask me, well, are you dropping the lowest exam? That's not the final, because the final counts. Well, yes and no. We take you have 3 exams on the homework average, so that's 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4 things. The lowest of those will be dropped. So the point I'm trying to make is, for the lowest exam to be dropped, the homework average would have to be greater than that lowest exam. Now, it is possible in some cases that the homework average is the one that's dropped. That's usually pretty rare, because the homework average should be your friend, basically. That should be helpful for you. But I've had people, usually they're doing really, really well or whatever, and maybe they're just doing well on all the exams and a little lower in the homework, so then the homework average is dropped. So the lowest of those 4, but so when they just ask me straight up, are you dropping the lowest exam? I always have to make it clear that, but that's it. The homework average has to replace it. So what I'm getting at is you can't blow off an exam and blow off the homework, both. So, okay, so make that clear, and if you want to ask me about, send a message and ask me about it again, I'll be happy to try to clarify it further if you need any further guidance on that. So, all right, so that's the main thing on this syllabus, I think. The rest of it you can read through, and this is just, this calendar. The due dates will be in D2L, which I'll show you. These have no due dates, but this is just, you don't have to follow this exactly, but this is just a good way to kind of pace yourself. These are the topics, and you'll see what sections they are here when I go back to the other folder. They just want us to include that, and I think it's a good idea to include that, just to sort of help pace yourself. Now, this course is set up to where you can work ahead if you want to. You'll have due dates when things are due, but they can be done earlier. I mean, no, I don't expect you to finish this course in October, but I guess what I'm getting at is theoretically you could in an online class. But that's, anyway, just want to, we'll talk more about that. So this is just kind of a guideline. There you go. So you don't have to, if you work ahead or, work ahead in 1 week because you know that you're going to have a rough week the next week, with maybe a couple of other exams. Yeah, you're free to do that. But this just sort of kind of keeps you on pace, I think. So, all right, okay, the rest of this is just stuff we have to put in there. All right, end of the syllabus. We're done with that. But kind of read through that carefully, more carefully than I just went through it, I guess. But let's come down here. And let me scroll down to the bottom. And this is just some other links, algebra and trig review. I'll talk about that calc chat thing here in just a second. Other resources. This is a PDF file of an old textbook that you may use. And in fact, I said you can still use any book, but my notes and the sections numbered in my notes are based on this particular textbook. You'd find the same topics in any book, but this will follow my lecture using these sections in this book. So this is so yeah, you can download that. It's kind of large, but it shouldn't be too much trouble to download, or you can just view it within D2L. All right, so that's important. Now we go back to this D2L calc chat. Calc chat is, I have a practice problem list that's not necessarily, it's not your graded homework. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. That's over here where it says homework assignments. So this is just practice. It never hurts to practice. However much of this you can work in based on your schedule. I mean, I'm sure you've taken math courses by now. If you're all the way up to calculus, practice is always a good thing, especially if you're struggling on something. So this comes from that PDF file of the textbook. And you see, and I'll show you when I get to the exam notes, but also, so everything's clearly organized here. It shows you what sections are covered for each exam. But you'll see that in another place too, so it's not just here. And there you go. So it's got all those practice, And if you ever need help with those, you certainly can ask me, but I want to show you this other resource. This Calc Chat is an online Larson site there that you can look at, because homework problems are odd. You can go to, for example, you come over here and ours is Calculus 9th edition, well, at least that PDF book is, like so. And you tell it, you can pick a problem, let's say chapter 4, section 4, exercise, it's only odds, exercise 11, and then you can get a little guidance on it there. Now, one thing I will tell you is that sometimes it doesn't necessarily show everything you need to see. And I've had students in face-to-face classes come up and ask me, so you can ask me also. They may skip a step or two, but it's better than just a book with this book having the answer only in the back. In other words, at least it's better than that. This one's pretty good. So just the book in the back answer would just show 1/3. So here it shows some work, but I'm not guaranteeing that this is perfect. Certainly, like in my notes and I work out problems, I certainly do it in more detail maybe than this is. But it's very, very helpful if you are doing some of those problems. All right, let's see if I can get back out of this. And, oh, okay, that opened up a new window. So go back to where we were here. So there's that. Homework list. This is of course, there'll be the course intro video will be wedged in right after the syllabus by the time you actually look at this. This is what I do. Don't worry about this now. It's for the final. It just tells you the types of questions that are going to be on the final. It doesn't give you any problems or anything like that. And on the right, it tells you what section they come from. So you don't need to worry about this till the end of the semester, but it does kind of help you sort of guide your study on what you need to know for the final exam. So let's see. All right, I'll talk about these two folder things here in a minute. The first thing I want to do now is I want to go to the homework assignments. And these are PDF files. So let me open up the first one. I think each one of these have 10 problems, exactly 10. So what you do is you go through here, you work all 10 of these, and you get your answers. Now the idea is that you have to submit them, by no later than whatever the due date is. You do not submit any work. No work is required. You'll only be submitting your answers. And another thing that's important too is you submit them all at once. This isn't like maybe a Pearson My Math Lab you maybe have used before, where you can work on homework, go do a few, come back later, do a few more. Which you can do this on the paper file, you can work them a few at a time, but when you go to submit your answers, they must be done all at once. But you can actually work the problems a little bit at a time. So you go through these, and there we go. And there are 10 of these, like we mentioned in the syllabus, 10 of them. The lowest 4 will automatically be dropped at the end. You don't have to tell me which ones are dropped, so either, whether it's the lowest score or it's a 0 or whatever, it'll be dropped if it's one of the lowest 4. Okay, now, that's the information you need to work the problems. Now, to submit your answers, let's go over here to this thing called quizzes. So you see we got some due dates here. Everything. So like that first one I just brought up, homework assignment 1. You go in here. Actually, this is, let me look at this from your point of view. Because it's looking at, that's one thing I like about this is I can change this to student perspective. All right. So like I said, all these dates are deadline dates. Anything can be submitted earlier. So you click on this, and I'll go through here and just kind of run. I'm not going to try to get the answers correct or anything like that. So this is not what you want to do. You want to already have them worked out. Don't do it this way. I mean, blindly enter answers like I did, unless it's last minute and you're just trying to guess or something, but that's probably not going to go very well. So I'm going to go through here. I'm not going to worry about, whether answers are correct or not. I'll just click on a few here. Now, as I'm doing this, there's one thing I want to mention, is that I don't do this on purpose, but for some reason the D2L, it may scramble the order of the answers. It can't change the numerical values of the question. It can't change the numerical value of the answers. But it can somehow rearrange the answers order-wise. So what I mean by that, let's say if you work a problem on the file, and you're certain the answer is 5, and let's say you're correct, the answer is 5, and it's answer A on the PDF file. Well, if you come to the this part I'm doing right here, and you see 5 happens to be answer D and not answer A, you pick answer D because of the 5, because you know that's the right answer. So when I'm not trying to trick you, I wish it didn't do that. But yeah, so you bubble it. So you have to be, I allow an hour to enter this. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes tops, but because I want you to go slow, because I want you to look at your answers. Don't go by letter. If you're your answers on your sheet go A, B, A, C, D, B, A. You don't just bubble in real quick like that, because like I was saying, look at the value of the answer. That's what you're trying to match. So the letter choices might be different. All right, so now you see 10 of 10. Okay, that's good. You'll see 10 of 10. Submit. Okay, submit. And okay, I made a 50. Okay, but obviously I wasn't trying to do that well. So 50 will get put into the grade book. Now the next question is, how do you want to go back and look and see what you missed. All right, you can't look at them immediately. They are visible 1 hour after the deadline to enter them. So even if you enter them early, you can't see them. So you see, this is September 11th at midnight, basically. It's not viewable until September 12th, 1 a.m., and any time after that, the rest of the semester. So if you do it, I know if you do it on the 8th or the 9th, you just have to wait to see what you missed. Just keep moving on with studying other stuff, and just, or if you just want to wait until that 11th, so that way you get your feedback a lot quicker that way. And if you wait, that might be the way to do it. I don't know, but because remember, you've already done all the work. You just got to hold on to your paperwork just to submit your answers. But the way you do it then is you don't click on this blue thing again. That blue thing is only to enter your answers. That won't do anything after you've already entered your answers. It won't do squat. I don't know what it'll do for me here, but it's not gonna. Okay, it's maybe because I'm instructor, it's probably letting me attempt it. But anyway, well, okay, that's obviously it didn't let me start the quiz over again or the assignment over again. You go to this drop arrow and it's going to say something like submissions, like this: submissions, view submissions. That's how you actually look at it. Now the exams are a little different. I don't make the deadline, I don't make them viewable 1 hour after the exam. I usually I'll wait till a day or so, just in case there's any technical issues I need to work out or something went wrong. I have to manually set those views. But the assignments are always 1 hour after the deadline. So now, so that's how you have to click the drop arrow. I'll mention these two files. Most people forget about these files because they'll ask me about it later. How do I view it? They forgot or didn't remember. I guess it's not necessarily easy to remember everything you hear in the video. Let me just show you this just in case you remember. This is D2L, how to enter. I just showed you how to enter them. This file right here shows you what I was just explaining verbally. That yeah, there it is, real nice. So, like I said, that won't be available till 1 hour after the deadline. You click on submissions, and then you click on your attempt, and that's going to show you every one of your answers, which ones you got right, which ones you missed. All right. Now the exams will also have passwords. I'll be sending a separate announcement for that. passwords. I just do that because I don't want somebody to accidentally open the exam when they didn't mean to, that sort of thing. I probably don't need them, but I've had that happen a few times. But I'll provide those passwords for you in an announcement. So watch for that, and keep in mind that announcement, my announcements never expire, because it's funny, like I'll put that announcement in there, and then I'll maybe get 2 or 3 people like right around near the end of the first test, or deadline. What's the password? What's the password? It's because they forgot about that announcement. So when you see that announcement, maybe you want to mark it down somewhere or store it in your phone or something like that. So I think the problem with the announcements is I think that it might not show all of them. Let me go back to that here in a minute. But let's see. Maybe that's what's confusing. If you start putting more announcements in there, maybe it doesn't show them all. Oh yeah, see, so you might want to get familiar with this button down here, show all announcements. So that's probably why students don't see that announcement. They don't remember it, that I put it in there or whatever. But so if you remember to do this, see all announcements, that's how you'll find it. So I guess that makes sense if it's not right there in front of them anymore. So, but yeah, usually if you can, it'll save yourself the agony of, I don't mind telling you, but I always tell people to look for them in the announcements. All right, so back to the content. There we go. So we just did basically the assignments and the exams. Now the only difference, the exams is you don't have the questions in advance. You'll see it. The time allotments are pretty good. They're like 3 hours or so. I don't know. It's pretty good. They're 20. The exams will be 20 multiple choice questions. The final will be 30. So you have a good bit of time. But so you just make sure you click on the exam, and then that's when you start, and you have to do it all right there in one sitting. So you want to make sure you can do it when you have the allotted time to do it. So, but you'll go through, I guess, so you won't have the file in advance. Just go through and make sure you carefully answer all of them. Obviously, if you have to guess on some, that's fine too. Just don't leave any blank. Okay, let's go back. So that takes care of this. A couple other things here, and I think we'll have it wrapped up. Lecture notes. I got lecture notes. You see they're all in categories like I showed you in that spreadsheet earlier with the practice problems. Exam 1 notes. So you're wondering, hey, what all is going to be covered on exam 1? Well, everything that's in the exam 1 notes folder. So like I said, I like for my stuff to be real straightforward there, not some mystery like what's going to be put on the test, what isn't. So I generally don't get any complaints about that because nobody's ever acted like they said I was disorganized about as far as how that goes. So same thing, exam 2 notes, here are all your sections. They're all PDF files. I'll just pop one open here real quick, and you can download these. Now some of these I need to redo them because I did them in landscape, so I should have done them in portrait. I think if you download it, then you can right click on I need to try to fix these at some point. I don't know if you can right click in this form or not, but I know you can right click it as a right click and go counterclockwise, and there it's staring at you normally then. So okay, yeah, I need to fix these. I keep forgetting about it. And all the content's there though. Everything's fine. It's not. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I did these in landscape and evidently converting them to PDF and putting them up here and made them do that sideways. So you can fix that real easily. Nothing to panic about. Okay, back to the notes. So everything's organized, notes per each exam, and the final exam pretty much is over everything. I have some old PreCal notes if you wanted to look up anything in there. I also have notes. People have asked me, like, for example, not even so much in Cal 1, but I've had students like in Cal 2 that have reached their maximum transfer hours, and they can't take Cal 3 with Lone Star, unfortunately. They'll go, hey, I like your notes. Can I have your Cal 3 notes? And sure, I'm happy to provide them. So I've got notes like that provided here. So one thing I would recommend if you can take your math straight through Lone Star, I think that will be a lot better off for you in the long run. But that's okay. If you can't, you can't, obviously. But usually I don't have someone Cal 1 usually that don't go on and take Cal 2 if they need Cal 2, but I've decided to put those notes there anyway. Lecture located notes, exam reviews. Okay, actually, okay, this got, which I'll go back to lecture videos in a minute. Sample, so I have a sample file with just questions. Now, like I was saying, the exams are only 20 problems, so don't freak out. These may have 50 or 60, but it doesn't hurt to give more as practice than less. But that's usually, holy no, it's going to test, it's going to be that long. No. So I don't think that's uncommon for instructors to do that, so I just want to at least warn you. Some of those, the exams are going to be multiple choice also, even though I picked problems on here that aren't multiple choice, just because I liked them. There are the answers down there. So let me explain to you. I won't do this for all 3 exams. Once I explain this once, that'll be good enough. Then we have another PDF file with, some of them may not, this is a graphical question, so it really didn't require any kind of work, but they have, look, see me working out the solutions. Yeah, obviously I think the best way to study is to try to do them yourself first, and then if you get stuck, then you want to look at that. And also, we'll come up, so you see that's the same pattern for all the exams, so I won't open up every one of these. We have a regular file with just the problems, and then a file, then they have answer key at the bottom, and then one with my worked out solutions. So that's true all the way through. All right, videos, exam review videos. So some of these I have broken up into just certain problem sections. This one has all of them on the first one. Other ones, so you can go to whatever. So if you knew you were going to look at number 18, you can go to this one. I remember I was doing this, I was having a problem with the software. It was recording these videos and it cutting them off, so I got frustrated and it said let me do it a little bit at a time so that way I won't lose as much work if there are issues. But, so what the video solutions are is me, okay, so say you look at my written solutions, my worked out solutions, and then that's fine, but maybe there's some problems in there that even by looking at that, you're not sure about. This is a video of me explaining those written solutions. So you may not need that for every problem. The written ones might be fine, but there might be ones, I'm still not sure what he's doing. So you can click on it. It's a YouTube video. You just scroll wherever you want. You don't have to watch the whole thing. And then, boom, you can pick, then you can hear me say it, and that might help. So that's an extra backup for you. And speaking of videos, lecture videos. I have lecture videos of me explaining the notes that are for each section. Every section has one. And they're also organized by exam. So the same exam 1 notes have the same exam 1 videos. And it's just me explaining what's going on, verbal lecture of the notes. So obviously I would probably, yeah, in the case of the reviews, I could see you going with the solutions first and then maybe checking the videos. But I would, before even, the lecture notes are going to be based on these videos anyway. But yeah, I would, as a study technique, I would go right to these lecture videos first. So they're going to be me explaining the notes. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about trying to figure out the notes first. I would just watch the video. And let's see, so we have that. That covers everything over here. That's important stuff. And, oh, go back over here and show you one. I think I mentioned this already. Quizzes. So you see that there's due dates here, but anything, including exams, can be done before that. See, that's a deadline day. Because I've had people ask me and get confused. They didn't realize that or forgot it in the video, or like for this, let's say, hey, I'm not going to be around October 2nd. Can I take the exam a couple of days earlier? Absolutely. Those are deadline days. They're the last day. It doesn't mean the only day to do it. That's key. That's your boundary day. So anything before that, so you can plan your schedule out that way a little bit. If you know that last day is going to be bad, you can, arrange to do it a day or two or week earlier or whatever you want. So, okay, that's want to clarify that. That isn't going to ask too often, but usually once or twice a semester somebody will ask me that. And you see down here in the final exam, like I was telling you, the syllabus had the 16th, but I've now changed that to the 17th. So this trumps everything right here. These are the deadline dates that you go by. Well, I don't have any other deadline dates in the syllabus anywhere else, but it is now the 17th and not the 16th. So, well, all right then. I think that concludes this video. Let's hope we have a wonderful semester here with Math 2413 Calculus 1.